On the news at 6, a lengthy and critical audit at the Impact Charter School found millions of dollars were mismanaged by the school CEO, Shakisha Scott. The audit alleges most of that money was used to pay for Scott and her family's personal expenses, including trips, cars, and home renovations. Her lawyer says it's all misleading and inaccurate. The Investigative Unit's Best Casualty breaks down what the audit found and what this means for Scott.
Well, Michael, if what the audit alleges about Scott's misappropriation of taxpayer funds is accurate, a federal trial is very likely in her future. Monday morning, the results of a biting audit into Impact Charter's finances were turned over to state and federal prosecutors to determine if any criminal conduct took place.
Very egregious conduct, in my opinion.
For East Baton Rouge District Attorney Hiller Moore,
we knew from the beginning that it was going to be big.
The answer is clear.
It shows that there was a lot of money that was not spent on what it was supposed to be spent on, and actually was spent for personal gain.
The audit alleges the school's CEO, Shakisha Scott, diverted around $1.5 million to the Friends of Impact Charter School, a bank account she controls. And as CEO of Education Explosion, diverted around $221,000 paid by students and parents. She also received a PPP loan for around $450,000. Bank records show more than $2.8 million was deposited into the Friends of Impact Charter School account between March 2017 and February 2024.
This is probably the biggest one that I've ever seen, particularly regarding a school.
The audit alleges about 93% of those funds were diverted from Education Explosion via excessive lease payments to Friends of the Impact Charter School, the PPP loan, and contract services with another charter school.
It's a lot of money for personal gain when it should be going to students at education, and it did not make it there.
Moore says it's most likely the feds and not his office will take over prosecution in this case. On top of recommending Impact consult with lawyers, auditors said a lot more oversight needs to be implemented to prevent this from happening again. Who are the victims here?
Obviously taxpayers, federal taxpayers, state taxpayers, students, parents, you name it, can be all of them together.
The audit says some of that money was spent on a variety of personal expenses for Scott and her family members, including more than $200,000 on cars, a Tesla and a Land Rover, over $10,000 on wigs, clothes, and home decor, $6,000 on a luxury handbag, $130,000 in travel expenses, including trips to Disney World, Egypt, and Europe, and $100,000 on house renovations, including a new pool.
You know, who is watching the person that's spending the money? So it's an important question.
Now on Friday, Ron Haley, who represents Education Explosion, filed an injunction to prevent the audit from coming out. However, it was not ruled on until this afternoon. A judge agreed to grant it, but obviously the report was already released. It has no impact on the feds likely taking over the investigation. However, Haley says the judge's decision gives merit to there being no wrongdoing. A hearing has been set for the 18th. For the Investigative Unit, Best Casserly, WBRZ News 2.